I knew that I was being irrational and that I was out of control, even though I still kind of was under control.
So, but yeah, I get mad about hell shit. There's rage inside of me all the time.
I almost like went across the table and ate him. Like,
we just gonna go right in, or do we need an intro? We can just dive right in, right?
hey guys, what's up? It's us from the Blah Blah Report. Hi guys, what's up?
Hey, it's a Sunday.
It's a Sunday. It's freezing cold. I'm in California, and we're here to report the news no one cares about. So let's just go straight into it.
All right.
What are we gonna do? Well, I'm Tanny. You're always Tanny. I'm TT.
And I'm Adrienne.
So I want to know if you guys have ever been in contact with your rage. I've had a moment today where I just really realized how triggered I can be from one particular thing, and it stems back to family issues. It feels like energy that I just have to release it. It really made me feel some kind of way. So like after I was rageful, I had a meltdown and I just was crying and sobbing, and like that's why I need a filter today. But after today, I really had this moment of like, this is not healthy. This is not okay to be so triggered by something because of childhood stuff. I don't know. Does everybody have this rage? For you guys, do you feel, if you have this rage, do you feel like it is ever connected to anything deeper? Do you feel like it's just how you react to whatever it is you're going through, and it doesn't have anything to do with anything else? I don't know, this is a weird blah blah. Just kind of wanted to start the conversation of how we handle our emotions and how our emotions can really like take you out of your body. I mean, I was conscious. I wasn't like blacked out. I wasn't zoned out or in the red zone or anything. But I knew that I was being irrational and that I was out of control, even though I still kind of was under control. Because I wasn't going to hit nobody. I did slam some stuff, and I did feel like, just like I said, like
this
there
is
were
the
these
fucking rage.
moments of
You
like,
slammed him like that. God damn it. So I'm gonna give a little context. I guess the blah blah I think was kind of weird because, you know, I'm just not trying to put all these details out, but it was a questioning that I received. It was a line of questioning that was very similar to lines of questioning that my father has always made all my life toward my mom. My connection to, I know that this came from that. In the moment, I don't think I did. This doesn't happen often. It hasn't happened often in my life. So after the calming of the storm, I realized it was like a direct connection to that whole thing.
I think definitely everyone has their triggers, put it like this. So for me, I don't like to be ignored because I was ignored a lot as a child. So that's a trigger for me. Everything leads back to something. Do I think about it in the moment? No, because I've already made that connection. So if you've already made the connection of what your triggers are, I guess you're not surprised about it or thinking about in the moment, I'm only doing this because of this, you know, certain things about myself I already know. So I know it's going to be a trigger. What I have to work on is knowing how to control my emotions, knowing that it's a trigger for me. So it's not really, I'm not trying to change the trigger is the trigger, but how I react to the trigger is what I can change. So, but yeah, I get mad about hell shit. Like, there's rage inside of me all the time. I've just learned how to control it a bit better. Is it all the way under control? No, but I don't expect it to be. I've come a long way thus far, so
Yeah.
eventually that should iron itself out. Or whoever is on the receiving end of that rage, they'll either accept me. They've either accepted me for that, or no, like, oh, she about to blow, but they'll already know that about me. So if that person is triggered,
proceed,
then why would
that's
you?
on them.
Yeah, and I guess that's what I'm getting at. It's like you can only control so much, but if someone is aware there's a trigger for you, wants to tap dance on that nerve anyway, well then, here we go. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So, that's my 2 cents.
I agree. I don't recall having a lot of feelings of rage just in like public or a social setting or from strangers or coworkers or friends, but you know, it seems like the people who are closer into you, the more likely you are to display an act of rage. I feel like I went really too far with Dante, my nephew, in a restaurant one day. Like I
remember that
I
story.
almost like went across the table and ate him. Like, but he was being so disobedient and he wasn't listening. So my trigger is somebody not listening to me, or if it's my partner and they're not listening to me, because I feel like I deserve for someone to listen to my feelings and then to respond. Well, I don't like when people shut down and they're just not listening. So that's what will trigger, or dismissive. So that's what will trigger like an outburst. But I will have an outburst. I don't like weapons in the house because I'm just like me, like
Impulse. You be in the moment.
I'm super impulsive for life. Like I'm a liability. Like, be cool.
Well, I guess, see, this happened with my husband, and I didn't have a lot of relationships, so this is the first time that this has ever shown itself in my relationship with my partner, my husband. One of the hardest things for me about being in a relationship with somebody else, for somebody who I really love to be alone. I have been alone and I have figured out my way through life without having to answer to anybody else. And so like this situation of being in a relationship has really challenged a lot of who I am, who I've been. And the hardest part is getting to know stuff about myself that is not cute. You know, like it's not okay for me to allow my emotions to take me to that place. So I really didn't like that feeling. But like you said, it's about how do you respond and figuring out how to be able to kind of check myself in the moment and not go there.
Or even if it's not in the moment, you might have to check yourself after. It might take a conversation with, in this instance, your husband, to explain, like, this is a trigger for me. This is why I reacted the way I did. That doesn't excuse my behavior. But you can't do that again. Because if you do, this is kind of what is going to happen until I learn how to make this not happen. And I'm not even close to that yet. So you might want to just...
And there's a lot of stuff you don't learn about yourself until you're in the context of a relationship or of a marriage, and then you notice things that you hadn't realized before or were really not existing before. So that's why marriage is a learning process. You learn lots of stuff about yourself, good and bad.
It is.
But I'm very emotional, so I think that's great, but it's like when you're a super emotional person, you could go to a super high or a super low. And so then for me as individuals, it's just a challenge to be more in control of my positive and negative emotions, which is hard.
It's all balance. And it's hard to maintain balance, period.
It's really hard.
And it's hard to find a balance of being accountable, but also, like Adrienne said, like people who do know you and who are familiar with your reactions will tap dance on your fucking emotions. And it's like, husbands can get it ttoo. Like, I'm sorry, excuse me. You know what I mean?
Definitely not exempt.
Fiancés can get it, baby daddies can get it. Like, and you already know. So it's like, as an individual, you should be accountable, but it's like your partner should try to help you, and sometimes maybe they're in a zone and it's like they're trying to trigger you. I'm not saying that your husband was trying to trigger you in this time. Maybe he didn't know that what he was doing was going to cause said reaction. But once he does know, you have the responsibility to try to adjust your behavior, but he should have a sensitivity and an awareness that maybe he already does to maybe tread a little lighter in certain situations or regarding certain topics, or you know.
Charmaine was telling me some interesting stuff because she's a Virgo, I'm a Virgo.
I got something to say.
Virgos are really good at like analyzing other people's stuff and like, you know, kind of figuring it out and like supporting and kind of guiding you through it. But but we don't want anybody to get into our stuff.
Right.
You know, like my stuff is my stuff. I deal with it inside of here, and I am very internal. I do like it's a lot of what I go through. I keep it to myself. I hold it in, and I think I am one of those kind of people that a lot of people come to, and you know, and I'll be able to help somebody navigate through their junk. But for me, I don't have the best handle on it. So she was saying that it's like some Virgo type traits or whatever. So thought that was kind of interesting. The point being that when you're in a relationship like a marriage or a live-in partnership, that somebody else is coming into that little bubble that you've kept around yourself for so long. And so I think that's the part of me that is very challenged, is that he's getting into these things that I can hide from the rest of the world.
Right.
And I can't hide those things necessarily in this kind of a dynamic of a relationship. So it's just a never ending process trying to like figure out who you are and how to control yourself.
It's a journey.